Pre-turkey week.
Sure is.
Welcome, everyone, to this completely unnecessary podcast. Super show for Friday, the rare Friday recording, November 17th, 2023, alongside Ian Ferguson.
I'm here.
I'm Pat Contry. On the show today, we'll be discussing some stuff. We'll be discussing NFTs being worthless. What a shock. We'll be talking about Atari buying Digital Eclipse. Legend of Zelda live action movie announced. Ian's worst nightmare. Video game sealed game crash from Carl Jobst. Also, MCU in trouble and how we should fix it. What's going on in your world, Ian? You all right?
Yeah, well, I've been sick, but that's okay. I've gotten sick after the last two conventions, after Portland, and I was in really rad weekend in Florida over the weekend.
How was that? Was that nice?
It was fantastic. It was a lot of fun.
No hurricane
really,
this year?
Really pretty too. Like very pretty venue. It wasn't too hot, although it rained all day on Saturday. Anyway, those were good, but I haven't gotten sick from the conventions. Every time I've come home, Vani has gotten sick the previous weekend from something, and I've caught whatever she has gotten. So, yeah, we've both been.
It's got a sequester.
Yeah. As we talked about on the bonus bit in the beginning, I've been playing a lot of Othello again, trying to get my skill up to I don't know, a reasonably respectable level. The thing I like about Othello is I love chess, but the thing I like about Othello over chess is it's I can usually get a game in on the toilet, whereas chess is, longer.
You can put a game in the toilet. I mean,
yeah, I can get a game in on the toilet
while on the toilet. Okay,
yes.
Get a game in on the toilet.
And then I been watching a lot of basketball. My Pistons are 2-10. We're looking great.
Tank again. I mean, tank.
Besieged by injuries, but also just poor play. We lost our opener. Then we went on to win 2, and we looked good in the opener. And I was like, "This is it, man. This is the year. The play-in Pistons." And
get that 10th seed.
Playing Pistons, and no, it's been rough. So many games that we just haven't been able to clinch. So yeah, that's been sad.
Warriors started strong, and then they lost 5 in a row.
Yeah, they're under 500 now, aren't
6
they?
and 7. They were 6-2 and looking like, wow, They look like world beaters right now, or pretty solid, because Steph was carrying them on their back. No one else was scoring 20 points literally behind.
That's the problem. Like I watched a handful of those games that they won. And I mean, like, yeah, they won, but what I was looking at was not a strong team. I was looking at Steph literally carrying that team on his fucking back, and that's not sustainable. That's just not sustainable.
No, and so
it didn't work last year, and it's not going to work this year.
Well, it worked enough to get past your Kings, but after that, it fell apart against the Lakers. He put him on their back for the Kings series. Something's wrong with Klay Thompson mentally. He's looking like he shouldn't be playing in the NBA. So that about Wiggins, but Wiggins actually was like rebounding and actually starting to work hard, even if he wasn't shooting. Klay Thompson looks like he shouldn't be in the NBA right now. Like, I'm not even using hyperbole. He looks that bad. He looks bad.
No, I mean, I wasn't. When I sent you that send him to the G League text yesterday, I wasn't kidding. I mean,
he looked bad.
He looked awful. 1 for 9 from 3.
1 for 10.
Whatever.
And then not just that though, just chucking up garbage with like awful.
Oh yeah, no, everything looked like
with
trash
awful form. I can even tell as a layman that like his shooting form is off. He's not moving well. He's making bad. He like dribbled off his own foot and leg. He can't get separation from opponents. He needs to talk to like a sports psychologist. I honestly think like he needs like help. Like he looks lost. I think it's because he's on a contract year. They did not want to extend him because it's like at this point you can't extend him for anything. So like he's kind of playing for his future being there, which is sorry to say. It's like really bad.
I've always liked him, but like I see him this year, like he hits a 3 after having an awful game and he's still like taunts and shit. And it's like, dude, You don't have the taunting rights at the moment.
No, they got to sit him down and be like, you got to come off the bench or do something, or else you can't play these minutes anymore. He can't start.
I'm surprised he isn't a bench player already.
He can't be starting games or finishing games, because he's been terrible. But anyway, what's good news? Remember that
Analog Pocket had some stuff that they put out those color ones today.
Oh, okay.
I did a.
That's how they get you.
Well, I did a quick and dirty deal with my friend this morning. Sold my white one and ordered a pink one.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You fell for the play it loud.
And the pink one ships on Monday, so I'll have it next week.
So you
upgraded
my buddy
a good deal.
So you basically are buying into the ecosystem again with a colored version, not a glow in the dark, just a colored one.
They only did the glow in the dark ones once, and as neat as it is, I don't think I would have done that because glow in the dark stuff can get weird over time.
Really?
It'll stop eventually. Like that stuff doesn't last forever.
The isotopes disappear, the half-life. I don't know how the hell that stuff works.
I really liked the clear ones. The clear blue one was really nice, but I think the pink one, when I saw it, I was like, fuck. And I was actually thinking about selling my white one when they announced it and trying to get a pink one, but I was like, I don't want to go through this hassle. So my buddy texted me this morning and he's like, I've got a pink Analog Pocket in my shopping cart. He's like, talk me out of it. I was like, I can't talk you out of it. I was like, I wanted the pink one. I was actually going to sell my white one for it. And he goes, I think I'd rather have the white one. He's like, they're still in stock. If you order the pink one, I'll buy your white one. So I ordered the pink one.
There you go.
Selling him my white one.
Get in early. I keep forgetting that we pre-ordered duos and that we're still going to get those. Like I said to myself, did I pre-order us both a duo? Like, and I did.
End of year, they said shipping by end of year. I'm going to need you to be ready to get in your car and go pick those up when they ship, because I am very excited for that. But they said end of year, and I mean that's only a month and a half left, so we should have those pretty soon.
Shipping
I hope before Christmas.
They say shipping this year doesn't mean you're going to get it this year, but it means that they're shipping. But I mean, at this point, that means they're on the boat coming over here, so that's good. This one is a quick story that we've heard about. I don't know if we ever brought this up before, but I heard about this before. That it was dropped by probably an ex-developer or programmer of the Sony PlayStation Daredevil game that was being developed for the PS2. It was canceled in 2004 and was mostly finished. So very interesting that this got released there, got leaked to the public.
It's always neat to see these. I don't really have a lot to say on every one that gets, released or unearthed, but I wonder if it just had something to do with when was the movie?
Wake me up, wake me up. It was 2003, I believe. It was after Spider-Man.
Okay, I wonder if it just got shelved because the movie had such a horrible, everyone hated the movie.
Really? It did well at the box. Remember, that was like the first of the new guard of comic book movies, X-Men, Spider-Man, Daredevil. It did well enough to get the Elektra spin-off. That was terrible.
I guess I never saw it. Maybe I'm misjudging its importance.
The
presence.
The director's cut's supposed to be a lot better because they have a lot more lawyer subplot with what's his name that just passed away, the rapper, from Gangster's Paradise, Coolio. Coolio's has a whole client subplot that was not in the theatrical version at all. They cut probably 20 to 30 minutes out of the movie just on that alone. Yeah, so never saw that. I thought the movie was all right. I liked Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin. There was actually when that was rolled around, people were like, no, there's no controversy about, race changing, whatever. Like, no, he's a big hulking guy. Remember that? Like, people were all for that back then. Nowadays, I don't know how it would go. But back then, that was fine. I actually didn't like the redesign of Bullseye. Having it like seared into his forehead, I thought that was kind of cheesy and dumb. It's like, I'm an assassin. How do you go unnoticed? I don't know. I'm just gonna have it fucking seared into my forehead, a target. It's like, it's so fucking dumb. It was so much better in the Daredevil series 3. Bullseye was done so much better. Obviously, because that series was awesome. You should be happy that they're now back in production on the new Daredevil series.
I just keep hearing that. So yeah, I mean, I'll be happy when I actually see it.
And the Echo trailer, I was saying I had no interest in Echo at all because who the hell is Echo to me? She just showed up in Hawkeye. Trailer looked pretty good with your boy Vince. I mean, I'm kind of into it. It looked bloody and violent, and I have zero interest in MCU stuff at this point, which we'll get into later. But I was like, I might give it a shot. I might give it a shot. You might have hooked me for that with the Denoff.
With the Denoff.
Yeah, I mean, he's good. He's always
good. He's fantastic.
Always underrated. I just watched again. Even though it's sacrilege probably to Frank, the Magnificent Seven remake with Denzel Washington. It's not horrible. There are some issues to it, but D'Onofrio's in it, and he's obviously great. He plays like a a mountain man basically in that. You ever see that before?
I have not seen that.
It's a good cast. It's a very good cast. No, like I said, it's one of those remakes that, well, none of them are really necessary. But it's a classic story, obviously, and it has a great cast in it. In a shock, 95% of NFTs are now are dead. They're worthless. There's no one buying. The vast majority of these have been minted the past years. This comes from dapgamble without an e.com. It's just called Dead NFTs, the evolving landscape of the NFT market. Evolving as in evolving to nothing.
So I think I read this last week or 2 weeks ago. Maybe it's pulling data from a different one that I had read, but yeah, it's crazy. So one of the big bold things that they highlight is of the 73,257 NFT collections they identified, 69,795 of them have a market cap of 0.
That's not a good cap to have. You never want a market cap of 0.
No.
0 trading.
Yeah, a lot of the investments are worthless. Obviously, there are some up top that are still holding some monetary value because there's enough of a shaky framework together to keep some of the things from crashing.
The apes. The apes.
Yeah, the apes.
Cyberpunks or something?
Digital Punks was another one.
That's the only ones I know, which means you're bad if I only know 2 of them as a casual person.
But yeah. And it's funny. Every once in a while, I'll still sign into that hell site that is Twitter, and I'll go trolling for like NFT stuff. Like I'll usually start with looking at a Web3 is going great tweet, and then look at the replies, because it's the only time where you want all the blue checked replies right up top, because it's just all the idiots who are trying to convince each other that NFTs are fine and they're not going away. And I get a little bit of schadenfreude just from watching these idiots fucking fall all over themselves, trying to convince themselves that they weren't, bamboozled. My favorite thing that happens these days with NFT comments is people who talk about the good old days. Remember the early times? 2021?
I was going to say, it's been 2 years. So, like, what are you talking about?
At most, it's been 3 years.
Like the good old days, when we still couldn't go anywhere yet because of the pandemic? What do you mean? That's why
if you bought a hamster when NFTs became popular, that hamster might still be alive.
A goldfish might be still alive.
Yeah.
This is a weird article. I'm going to call it an article because in the middle of it, well, first of all, they went over the huge fucking ridiculous amount of energy that was been wasted by minting this shit, let alone buying. You're minting all this shit on the blockchain that's never going to be touched or utilized. Just so fucking awful to begin with. But the NFTs with real use cases. Here are just some of the many examples of practically, I thought they were trolling. Gaming, unique in-game assets can be bought, sold, and used. And we said before, like you said, you don't need that. Preserving, are you hearing this, Ian?
I'm turning my light on. Yes.
Preserving cultural heritage.
Yes.
NFTs can be used to digitize and protect cultural artifacts, giving them a unique, immutable status on a blockchain. So what are you saying? You take a fucking picture of like an old coin or something? Or what do you mean? Like, what the hell?
They used to use this as examples, and then the cultural artifacts we have are fucking apes with green ooze dripping out of their ears. Like,
what are you talking about?
Artifact, but not an important or good one.
I thought they meant like a real cultural artifact, like something from someone's cultural heritage. Awful. Let's see. Real estate. This is great. Owned properties can be tokenized as NFTs, allowing for the sale of the property on blockchain platforms, which would provide a pathway to much easier selling. Listen, folks, I've been critical, not publicly, about the way real estate's done by the fees, how it's all monopoly. There was a huge class action lawsuit that came out a week and a half ago, Ian, about that. That said that the real estate association has conspired to keep like fees high and everything, and they got dinged for $1.8 billion in the state of Missouri. It might change. It might change how real estate is bought and sold going forward. Because I always said to myself, why is it 6% that you give up 3% to the selling agent and buyer across the board? Doesn't matter if it's a home that's worth 100,000 or 2 million or 3 million. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make sense for the amount of time and effort goes into it. Plus all the other weird underwriting fees that go into it. The sellers pay a lot of money when they sell a place, a lot.
Right.
So and that has never been really been looked at. Nowadays, there's like 1% fees for like Redfin and things like that, where you kind of do some of the work yourself. And so there's been changes slowly coming. The point is this: as shitty as our system is, I still trust that over putting my property on the fucking blockchain, where I can click on a link by accident and have my home, automatically transferred to some person living in Eastern Europe that hacked me. Like I'd rather, I don't want to live in that world. I'd rather still have safeguards.
Yes.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Am I crazy for saying that?
And we've talked about this all before. I mean, it is. It's absolutely ridiculous. But there isn't enough demand to keep up with supply. That's the other thing that they're noticing. Have you noticed that there are people still announce like NFT drops?
Really? Who's buying them at this point?
No one. I think everyone just keeps putting another one out in hopes that the next one is going to catch. Throwing that good money after bad.
What's the cost to mint an NFT? Like, what's the actual cost if I did an NFT of 1,000?
I mean, that I couldn't tell you right now. I have no idea.
But you only need probably like 10 idiots to buy it to make up for the cost. I don't.
I'm assuming it's not nearly as much as it used to be, because I think it's all relative to the value of Ethereum and the and
coins. That's dropped. Is that what you mean? Okay.
I'm gonna look. Actually, I have not looked at the Ethereum. The value.
Oh, thank God the soundboard's back. Oh boy.
Because I would have to assume Ethereum itself has tanked.
I mean, all crypto has been down for the past year at least.
Okay, it's 1,961 per unit. I actually have no idea what that compares to. I think it was like 2,500 at some point.
What is Bitcoin? I looked at Bitcoin price in a while. It dropped down to it's up to 36 again. And it's still way lower than the peak, but I'm surprised it got that high again.
Yeah, what was the peak? Like 55?
60?
63?
64 November 12th, 2021.
That was the highest.
Then it fell till a year ago. It was at 16,000. Oh, this is a pump. It was at 26,000 a couple months ago. Now it's gone up 36,000. They're pumping it. Get in early. Well, it's all a fucking game.
Bitcoin is it's not too big to fail, but it's bigger and will fail harder but slower. There's enough people there to keep that propped up.
Did I tell you I got into a heated argument with someone at a poker game, an in-person poker game, because they were pushing Bitcoin. No, but everyone brought up the same points about, well, in El Salvador they're using it. And I said, do you know how much they got fucked by buying it in like countries like that? Like, are you kidding?
Yeah, kidding.
And you still can't buy and sell things with it easily. You never will. So it's never going to be a real currency. So you have to admit it's not a currency at this point. It's just a holder of wealth. It's like the same tired arguments. It's ridiculous.
Well, and I have noticed that people don't use the currency arguments anymore because
it's ridiculous.
It's impossible to use it as a currency. There's no fucking way to use it as a currency.
They just go back to the same old, well, it's the way that the government doesn't control your money. And it's like, listen, asshole, my money's insured by the bank. And the government insures my money in a bank account. My money's not insured in crypto or anything else if something weird happens. Or something disappears, or it's gone. There's no insurance for that. No insurance for fraud, things that happen, or anything.
And they're the first people who, ask people for help as soon as something goes wrong. They love the idea of the lawless nature,
libertarianism with money. Yeah, deregulation. No.
Yeah, once it actually bites them in the ass, they're not happy anymore.
Someone stole all my apes.
Yes.
You know where Bitcoin's not accepted? UltimateNintendo.com. We want greenbacks, credit cards, PayPal there, where you can buy for
chips,
Black Friday is coming up. You can buy certain NES and Super Nintendo guidebooks I'm not saying the NES book's going to sell out tomorrow, but you better get in early because it's going to sell out. The third print run of the NES, and we got stickers, RBI Baseball stickers. We got CU Podcast enamel pins. We got things of that nature, all at ultimatenintendo.com. I'm on Twitch every Wednesday. Ian will never be there. Twitch.tv/ContraCode, watching the greatest 70s, 80s, and 90s commercials. That's fun as well. And Cameo, once a month someone requests a Cameo. That was definitely a pandemic thing as well with Cameo.
Well, it was a pandemic thing, but Pat, I mean, there is a finite audience of people who want a Cameo from anyone, and once that's played out, it's done.
Sure. It's not going to be every day forever. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it was hot when it started. It was hot. Everyone was doing it. And I put out a couple NES Punk videos. I went back and looked at the NES Punk records, Ian. I have a vault. I have like a file cart system.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first time ever I put out 2 NES Punk videos, full, not like Ian sitting there, me recording parts 1 through 7 of my collection video. 2 NES Punk videos came out in a little over 2 weeks. That had never happened before in 15 years.
Nice.
Ever. And I don't know why. Still.
Yeah, I was going to say that was really quick.
Yeah. But I think the record before that was like same calendar month, like November 1st and November 30th, like 4 full weeks. Never happened before. So go check out Forgotten NES Games. I don't know if Ian saw that one. That acts as my de facto 15th anniversary video. And you can watch what Ian definitely didn't see, a review of Shark.
Pat, I reviewed Shark. I don't need to watch another review of Shark.
Well, you haven't.
I will watch the video. I will watch the 15th year anniversary.
You still haven't seen the 15th anniversary? It's been out for 3 weeks.
No, I have not.
Jeez, you hate me, Ian.
I don't hate you. I just
really
don't watch
really don't like
videos.
Me. I don't know why you do podcasts. I don't know why you don't do a podcast with someone you don't like. I don't know why you do that. Microsoft AI generative bullshit announced. I didn't really read this. I edited the docket. I'm like, I can just read it. Microsoft is partnering with In-World AI to create Xbox game dev tools for generative AI characters, storylines, and more.
Great. Sounds awful.
At Xbox, we believe that with better tools, creators can make even more extraordinary games. Great. So you'll have AI dialogue that'll suck ass. Like that's basically what's going to happen. We're only like 1 or 2 like court cases away from putting a kibosh on a lot of generative AI stuff for entertainment. I mean, like it's going to happen at some point where it's going to be challenged for copyright grounds, that you can't just plug in shit and then build off other people's work for images, for writing, and already the Screen Actors Guild and the SAG-AFTRA just said you can't use AI shit. And I just saw someone saying that, was it Steam or something that said like games have to be marked if they use AI in its involvement? Who came out with that? I didn't add that to the docket. But
I heard rumbling. Let me look and see. I heard rumblings of that, but I don't. Steam and AI games, because I haven't seen it on any games yet.
But this is
okay. So Steam blocking generative AI. It is doing. This was announced in September at some point. So I guess it was. They have banned it.
So they banned what Microsoft
developed games. So I don't know if like AI art in a game. Well, okay. It's specifically saying no to AI made games. So I don't know if that means an AI is making the game or if it includes the art.
Sure. I thought I saw something about at least the art, because it'll get to the point. It'll get to the point where you'll be able to make a game without any original art. It just will. You'll get to that point where you just ask, what the hell's the big one? What's the big art one? I forget. There's like 2 or 3 of them. Hey, make me all these assets. like that's it. And that'll be weird. And plus you're just ripping off other art to create your new art.
Okay. So here's what it said. Valve's silence was broken by a developer posting screenshots of conversations with the company. Reddit user Potter Harry 97 posted that he tried to submit a video game on Steam that contained 2 to 3 AI generated assets. So yeah, it looks like if you used AI to make the art or something like that, it'll get banned, which is fine.
How do they know that it's AI? Is there something that can tell if the image is AI?
I couldn't tell you. That I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
I'm sure teachers have tools now that can tell if it was ran through like Chat GPT for like homework stuff.
I don't know if they can. there are programs that I believe you can run a paper through.
Sure.
That I read that will kind of give you an idea, like what percent chance likely is this to be AI written.
That's the world. That's what we're using our tech for, to cheat on the homework and porn and make porn images. Basically, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I suppose that's the thing too, huh?
It's everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, technology always is used for porn almost immediately. Any new
Sure.
tech.
But that's usually like pushed out into the public, and I'm surprised I haven't seen anything about that.
Well, we'll just say if you're on certain, sites, you'll see like a little advertisement. It's like create your own AI porn and shit like that. It'll probably like ask you like.
I mean, I'm
what
occasionally on those sites. I just always thought that was bullshit. I just figured that was something that you clicked on to get a virus on your computer.
Now we both have homework. That's all.
All right, good, great. We have.
You can create your perfect Meredith Baxter Burney AI for that. So the following.
You always think it's Meredith Baxter Burney, but it never was.
You said it was.
No, it's not.
Unless you were misspoken.
The person that I was talking about was someone completely different.
So I misheard Meredith Baxter Burney somehow. Is that what you're saying? I misheard that?
I was looking up. No, that was when I was looking up Phoebe Cates.
Who was it?
Phoebe Cates.
Phoebe Cates.
I have the picture saved on my laptop.
So you're saying I confused Phoebe Cates with Meredith Baxter Burney? You didn't actually say that? Is that what you're saying right now?
Yes.
That's crazy, Ian. That's fucking crazy. They're like the two opposite people.
I know, but I have no idea where the Meredith Baxter Burney thing came from with you.
I believe you said it one time. And she was a cutie. She probably still is. I mean, she was. They were actually not that older than like Michael J. Fox. Like, if they had kids, they were like not even 20. They were like 16 when they had them as hippies. This portion of the CU podcast is brought to you by the new Retroware and Prison City, developed by Programmancer. It's now out on all consoles like Nintendo Switch, Xbox, PlayStation. It's also on PC at the Steam and Epic Games stores. Prison City is a dystopian, action-packed side-scroller with tight mechanics and intricate level design. Battle techno-terrorists with your chakram and grenades, eat hot dogs for health, and locate contacts to help take down bosses.
It pays tribute to late NES games like Power Blade, Shatterhand, and Vice Project Doom, with the map approach and style of the Mega Man games. There are also a ton of action movie references, from Escape from New York to Terminator to RoboCop, and it's set in the far-off year of 1997. Just like the game came out in 1990 for the NES. I got my hands dirty with it a little bit, and I've really enjoyed my time. The controls are super snappy. The graphics look exactly like a 1992 NES game. I mean, it's really pretty to look at. The tunes are jamming, and the main weapon, the chakram, is actually pretty controllable. You can fire it at an angle. You can hold it out in the air. I really enjoyed playing it. It definitely has a Power Blade vibe if you've ever enjoyed that game.
You can get Prison City today. It's available on all systems. Find it on Steam or your favorite console. If you're watching on YouTube, you can click on the link in the description below. Anyway, this
moving on.
This was news that came out of nowhere, like an RKO. Atari acquiring Digital Eclipse. Obviously, Digital Eclipse worked with Atari with the amazing, came out about a year ago already, the Atari 50 collection.
Correct. I don't know if it was really. Was it already?
I believe it was last year because the 50th anniversary was 72. 2000.
Yeah. Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah. This is a weird fucking year. I can't tell if it's gone slow or fast. It just seemed like it's almost like a lost year this year to me. Anyway, so they did an announcement about it. So all the current stuff is going forward, which is good. It's going to be nothing like weird. Like they just stop working on stuff.
So I'm gonna try to I'm going to hedge my bets and say that this is not a bad thing for them specifically. I don't like it when developers or when publishers buy up development studios. I don't, and it's hard for me to just wave it away for this one.
Sure.
However, based on their announcement, which I will believe at face, I know people who work there. I've talked to a number of people who work there. I don't think Digital Eclipse is a developer that would have agreed to the buyout had they not had some certainty that they would be allowed to continue in the way that they are continuing. I am still nervous, but I do, like I said, the announcement reads well to me. And the big thing that I would have been concerned about is Digital Eclipse only allowed to work on Atari properties. That's absolutely not the case. And it makes sense. Atari is not whatever people want to think about modern Atari, and clearly we think a lot of things about them. They are no longer really a company that is just trying to, and whether or not this is a good idea or not, they are no longer a company that is just trying to promote their own games in the past. Whether we believe it or not, we've gone over press releases from Atari where they talk about re-entering the new age. They've been buying up IP left and right. So I don't think Atari, obviously they will always try to lean back on some of the stuff that they have, but I don't think they're really concerned about it just being the image of Atari we know. I don't think they really care about it just being remakes of Atari games anymore. I do think there is probably truth to that I don't really think they give a shit what they work on. I imagine it'll probably be more focused in this game history style, though, which is fine.
Sure.
I think we're going to see a lot more Gold Master, and we're going to see a lot more, Atari 50th anniversary type stuff.
Yeah. So right now, this came out with a Karateka Gold series, the first one,
which is great.
And they have the Wizardry game. The Wizardry collection just came out, right?
No, it's not a collection. So I've been playing that. The first Wizardry, Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord, is a graphical remaster of the original Wizardry.
Is that out already?
Well, it's in early access. It's been out. It's been out for like 3 months.
Okay.
And I've been playing it, and it looks great. And it's funny because it's Wizardry. It runs off the exact same rules as Wizardry. Everything you can break in the original Wizardry, it's all built on top of the original code. So whatever you could break or do in the original Wizardry is there. It's a fun game, but at this point in time, playing through Wizardry like you're a brand new baby to it is a soul-crushing experience. So the fun becomes, how are you going to break the game this time with nicer graphics on top of it?
Yeah, it's a 40-year-old engine, basically what you're saying.
Yeah, it is.
They're putting graphics on.
You can break the shit out of it. There's stuff that's completely unfair. Break it. Pick up load up an FAQ and tear it apart.
Yeah, so that's going to appeal to obviously that certain hardcore dungeon crawling audience that loves that sort of game.
Right. I think they're really going to kind of narrow in their focus on this classic era stuff.
So this was unnerving to me. I wasn't upset. I wasn't happy. This makes me extremely uncomfortable when I heard about this, because Atari has searched for the past 10 years for a way to make money.
Yes.
In any possible way they could. Crypto, NFTs that we've covered on the podcast only a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Harebrained ideas for casinos and hotels. And the Atari VCS that came out was not good. And yes, this is a semi-changing of the guard with Wade Rosen being involved, but it's still the same company. And this is also, as a caveat, I should say, this is also a French company at this point. And that matters not a lot, but it also means that the control of all this stuff is never going to be centered around. That's nothing to do with Atari anyway. But Atari hasn't been Atari for 40 years at this point.
Well, that was kind of my point. I'm not surprised that they aren't restricted to Atari licenses, because Atari isn't the Atari they once were.
Atari is trying to now be, we are the old game company.
Yes.
For whatever that means. So we're going to buy Night Dive Studios. We're going to buy Moby Games, which I still can't figure out how they make money doing that. And they paid $1.5 million for that. And I said, I don't know what they're doing.
I also wonder where the fuck all the money is coming from.
That's what I'm going to get to in a second. They paid a lot for that. They just bought Atari Age. I have no clue. But for what I hear, one of the main reasons they bought Atari Age, or one of the reasons they bought Atari Age, is because then they have instant access to a whole bunch of Atari homebrew programmers that can help them make games to sell.
I guess that makes sense.
Again, though, you're not going to sell a lot of those individual games, but at least you have access. They've been leaning into that. They've been doing their cartridge, so they are desperate for a way to make money. Because this is, they have investment money, obviously. This is a penny stock company. It's 10 cents on the exchange, wherever Atari SA is traded. It's a French company. So, they probably have gotten an infusion of money the past couple of years and are now like, we really need to make money or else I don't know what we're going to do. So this is a gambit, in my opinion, to do this, because otherwise we always said, how can Atari make money? Like it's a zombie brand almost. People can't even tell you, like Ian will say, people can't even tell you what Atari actually made. They'll point to Atari. And
that was one of the funniest things that, happened. I mean, anyone who works in a retro video game store will tell you that someone walks in who doesn't know a lot about games. Even some people who do know about games, they look at Atari and they go, "Oh, I had favorites on there. I loved the Atari games, River Raid and Barnstorming and
Keystone Capers." And it's like none of those were made by Atari. Like their bread and butter at that point was the arcade games. Then it's a different kind of company that did those ones we love in the mid 80s. So like 720 and APB. So it's like, all right, it's a mess. The rights things are a mess. So it's unnerving because now you have like Digital Eclipse has helped usher in this like new golden era of retro video game, compilations. And now it's eventually going to be in danger. We are now at the tail end, or hopefully tail end, of all these studios destroying game developer companies that they just purchased the past year or two. It's in the news.
I hope.
It's in the news every other week. I was going to put a link up. I did. Oh, there's been over 6,000 jobs lost in the game industry biz this year so far. 6,000 jobs. And these were all companies that said, the line can only go up because it's a pandemic and everyone's forced to buy games and entertainment. So we're going to buy up. It's now a war to buy up as many game dev and publishers we can. But there's been a downturn. So what do? You fire people that thought that they're going to be in a great place. And they made a deal thinking we're going to have resources. We're going to get, obviously the people higher up and stockholders get paid out. And this can always turn bad. And that's why it's unnerving. That's why I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow or a year from now. It's always now going to be in the back of your mind because now
it is a concern. It's always a concern. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's why I said, I think that the people there are particularly smart and had some conversations, but you never know what a company is going to do.
There is zero guarantee when you're a publicly traded company what happens to you.
Right.
That's the bottom line. Zero guarantee. There's actually a videogamelayoffs.com, which is now depressing that has to exist. Because now it's being updated every week. Ubisoft Montreal, 135 folks gone on the 7th. Free Radical Design, 80 people gone on November 8th. 30 people fired from Digital Extremes on the 9th. The 13th, Amazon Games. This was a news story. Amazon Games basically laid off most of that. 180 people gone. It's every week. Yeah. There are small and large. Epic Games laid off 830 people end of September. I didn't know this site existed until today. And it's really startling. And again, a lot of these were acquired the past couple years during the pandemic. So There you go. Hope it doesn't happen, but it's out of your hands once you're no longer a private company. They can tell you what to do, when to do it.
Fair.
That's the bottom line. And they went through, I listed this, Atari SA sold off a bunch of shit 10 years ago that they bought. So I'm not saying it's going to happen again, but they have a history. They were bankrupt 10 years ago and sold off a bunch of shit in order to keep going. So there you have it. Ian's worst nightmare happened, which he on the show said would be he would boycott. He would start up a digital e-signature. No, he wouldn't. Remember when those were hot
than I used to be, but I still have, but I still don't love this concept of a live action Zelda movie.
Remember online petitions? Is that still a thing? That seemed like that was a fad.
I mean, they never really were a thing. I mean, if you get my drift. They were never really a thing. They never were effective. Let me put it that way.
Well, no, it's because it's just an e-signature. I mean, not even.
Slacktivism.
This is from Variety. Your source in the Hollywood back. Oh, that's Hollywood Reporter, your source for Hollywood news. Nintendo's developing a live action film. It was announced by Shigeru Miyamoto. This is Miyamoto. I have been working on the live action film of The Legend of Zelda for many years now with Avi Arad-san, who has produced many mega hit films.
I remember someone posted, they were like, I like this tweet because it gives me the image of Miyamoto just walking by someone's computer and being like, I need to tell them something real quick.
Avi Arad-san has a very, very mixed history with producing films.
I looked it up.
Oh, I knew the name because he fucked Sam Raimi in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
By forcing Venom in. Like, that was all him. Like, he has a very, very weird history when it comes to some of these movies. He's still marked as producer for the Spider-Man movies, the latest ones, as a legacy thing, because he helped produce them when they came out. Somehow, I forget how, but he got involved with almost all of the pre-MCU superhero ones from the 2000s. It was all him. Daredevil, Hulk, Punisher, Spider-Man 2, Elektra, Man-Thing. I forgot that was a thing. The Fantastic Four movies. Remember the Ghost Rider films with Nicolas Cage? But I still have to see. I haven't seen those.
I haven't seen those either. There was multiple?
So, there was 2. Spirits of Vengeance. There was 2 Nicolas Cage ones. You didn't know that?
Jesus Christ, no.
And the second one came out. Remember, the second one came out right before the MCU was like, before Disney bought it. That was 2011. So it was still like, what are we doing? We want to do an Avengers film. And then was that bought 2010? Anyway, remember there was supposed to be a Punisher. Remember there was Punisher Warzone that came out?
Yeah.
About 10, 11 years ago. So anyway, this is unnerving as well because of that alone. That.
So,
be directed by Wes Bell, who helmed the Maze Runner trilogy. I have no idea what those are like. I heard they were all right if you read the books. And the upcoming Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, written by Jurassic World screenwriter. Okay, I didn't see Jurassic World. Was that a good script?
The first Jurassic World was fine.
Okay.
I liked it. I didn't like it enough to see the rest of the Jurassic Worlds.
I just saw the last one because it was on TV and it was like, oh, it has the old cast in it. I'll turn on. It was just nostalgia bait, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I'd watch it for free if it was on Netflix or something, but I didn't make myself go out to the theaters for them.
It was harmless, the last one, from what I saw. I didn't see the other 2.
I heard the second one was particularly bad.
Oh, Fallen Kingdom or something it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This is all about the director. It's all about the script. It's all about who they cast. Like, I don't want them to go a Chris Pratt route and get the safest fucking choice, because I'll be annoyed if they do that. I will be annoyed, like, oh, we're going to get who we think is popular, even though that's not going to sell the movie. Chris Pratt did not sell people seeing the Super Mario Brothers movie.
No. I mean, you didn't need anyone to help you sell the Super Mario Brothers movie. And that's the thing. There was no reason to go with the safe bet when no one needed... No one was convinced to go see the Mario. No one was on the fence and like, well, okay, I love that Chris Pratt, so I'm going to go see Chris Pratt. No one did that. I can get over the fact that they're going to give Link a voice and whatever. I'm genuinely upset that it's not animated in one way, shape, or another.
Yeah, and it's a rumor.
Live action. That's my big sticking point.
Well, I think the question would be, if you did this, would they be, obviously they want to do multiple films, would they be all the same game universe, or would they jump around like the games do? What would be the safest thing to do with that? I don't know.
Right, because when you start thinking about sequels and stuff like that, are you gonna, kind of take that from the games where it's just kind of like different eras and shit, or are you gonna try to keep a running storyline?
Yeah, because you had the first 2 games that were a sequel. Then after that, they did whatever the hell they wanted, right? And then some, I think, bounced back to the same universe. I don't know enough about Zelda. There's been a billion games, but like, what do you do there? I don't know. I don't want like, oh, people say, oh, they got to cast Tom Holland or something. Like, if they do that, I will not only not see this movie, I will be, I don't want to say anti-Nintendo, but I'll be like so down on anything else they think about. They can't just say, well, what's going to help us get like 2% of people to come see it because it's a known entity. You can't do that. Like, you can't, you have to go for someone who is going to knock the part out of the park, in my opinion. You can't just do that.
Sure.
I mean, that's what they used to do with movies, right? They used to try. There's no more bankable stars anyway. There's almost no such thing as a movie star anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. Like you can't sell it anymore based upon.
We do have a bunch of young men that do tend to just kind of fill a template role,
but they're not they're not like even the last Mission Impossible did not do as well as people thought it was going to do.
Huh.
And Cruise is like one of the last movie stars that you can say like it's supposed to like everyone sees the movie because of him. So yeah, we'll see what happens there, Ian. I'm not another news real quick. Pedro Pascal supposedly is up for Mr. Fantastic. We will see. Again, that's kind of a laziest choice just because he's the Mandalorian already.
I don't know. I think he could do that. I think he's got character to him that could make that an interesting portrayal.
Yes, but there's more than 5 actors out there.
Yes, there are.
That's the point. And he's doing now Mandalorian, and then he does The Last of Us, and it's like there are other actors that can do these parts. And it's the same thing with Chris Pratt.
I think is wrapped though, isn't it? Wasn't season 4 supposed to be the end, or are they gonna, or season 3, are they gonna keep going?
I think they're gonna keep going, but maybe Pedro Pascal won't be the star of it anymore. It'll be other characters, I think.
All right. Yeah.
And maybe he'll just come back every now and then. So my point is that we have to try other people. That's all.
Oh, sure. I'm not against that.
But no, I'll probably do great in the role. But yeah, it has to be a good movie because I don't know if Frank's going to be around for a 3rd reboot. So you got to, I mean, come on, you're killing me here. I don't have the heart. He's never seen the shitty one that came out in 2015. I think that would kill him. I can't show him that one. If you want to listen to us jabber more, Ian, we have a Patreon, don't we?
We do. Patreon.com/CU podcast.
You go there.
Got it.
You get a writing, and you see us hear us talk about Othello and chess technology, an AI for 20 minutes. That's what we got going on there. And we do a hangout once a month, which is coincidentally going to happen on Saturday the 18th. So get in early.
Thrilled to the Othello talk.
Yes. And get in early at patreon.com/CU podcast.